Well, another day, another new opportunity for all my favorite series to fuck themselves in the ass some more. Let's see what good old Game Freak is up to. You've gotta be fucking kidding me. Hello everyone, this is VG Master 2 back with another fucking Pokemon video. Don't worry, I hate what my channel's become too. So, everyone was so excited because it's January and Nintendo usually has a nice direct. And then Game Freak took that excitement and smashed it on the ground in front of us. Sure, we'll probably get a general direct anyway, but every single time Game Freaks opened their mouth in the past 2 years, they've legitimately made living on this planet harder and harder. But you know, there's a first time for everything. Maybe this one won't be terrible. The direct starts off with an appearance by Tsunekazu Ishihara, president and CEO of the Pokemon Company. Poor guy. Wait, he's probably the one behind all the shit decisions. He's not a poor guy at all. Ishihara says that there are 2 things to discuss in this direct, and wastes no time getting into the first one. Oh no. Oh my god, they remembered Mystery Dungeon. This isn't horrible. Yep, surprise, surprise, the first Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is getting a remake for the Switch. It's called Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, and despite coming from 2 games, it's actually only 1. What's wrong, Game Freak? Suddenly get tired of making dual releases, even though they've worked so well for you? Unfortunately, it doesn't look all that good. The backgrounds are weirdly really ugly, and the Pokemon look really static most of the time. I'd be happier for Mystery Dungeon fans if Game Freak hadn't been acting so retarded lately. I don't really care about the series myself. I only own Sky, and I never cared to buy Gates or Super, so I can only hope that Game Freak got their head out of their ass for this one. On the plus side, Game Freak temporarily remembered that Megas exist. Maybe they'll remember Z-moves too? And they'll probably add maxing. Anyways, the game gets released on March 6th. I really wouldn't buy it if I were you. You'd still be supporting a shitty-ass company. But in the very least, they're attempting to remember their spin-offs. Well, that was a surprise. Not really a welcome one, but a mildly pleasant one. If we continue like this, maybe this dumb thing won't be so...
Now, for the other topic, I think we'll ask Game Freak to share it with you. Mr. Masuda, Mr. Omori, it's all yours.
Ugh, it's Game Freak. Well, I guess I should have expected as much. Oh god, it's the Pokédex murderer. But what the fuck would he be announcing? Please, for the love of God, don't let it be Diamond and Pearl remakes now, or Let's Go. Their title cards mention Sword and Shield, but they're the directors of more than just those, so why would... Wait. No. No, they wouldn't do that, would they? Not now. Not after they said...
We've been thinking about how much we'd like it if everyone's Pokemon adventures could go on even longer, with more to dig into and new discoveries to explore. We've been working on plans for some time, in fact.
No. They didn't. No. No! Yep. They did it. The motherfuckers did it. For the first time, Game Freak is releasing paid DLC. Good God, we were only joking! Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra are 2 separate DLC packs releasing in June and autumn respectively for Pokemon Sword and Shield. I don't know if they'll be available separate, but together, they're $30 fucking dollars. Now, you may think that $30 isn't that bad. Well, I'd argue that this shit is content that should have been in the fucking base game. And even if it shouldn't have, it shouldn't be half of what the game already costs. And if that wasn't bad enough, reminder that, at least in America, All the main series games from the past half a decade have only been $40. So you're paying 3/4 of what you would be paying for an actual complete main series game. That means that if you wanted all the content in one game, you'd have to pay $90, both $180. Almost $200 for a game that's still incomplete. That's fucking ridiculous. Okay, so I guess this would be the best time to address the elephant in the room. More old Pokemon are coming back. I should be happy, and I guess I am, but they said that over 200 Pokemon were returning in these expansions. And if we take the minimum 200 and add it to the 435 already in the game, including the ones in the code but unobtainable, that makes 635. How many Pokemon were there before Gen 8? Oh, that's right, 809. So more than 635. But wait, they included the starters and legendaries in the code already as part of the expansions, meaning that it's only 600 Pokemon. That's even worse! You might not think it's horrible because even if you don't buy the expansions, there's a free update that adds them to your game, so you can obtain them through trade. But really, that's not any better. That means you either have to rely on a bitch who made the mistake of buying the expansions, or get Pokemon Home, which has a 100% chance of being a subscription service. I mean, they fucking say it in the direct, not verbally, just as tiny text on the screen. Smooth, Game Freak. Meaning you have to spend money anyway. Even if you're not getting Pokemon traded to you from someone who doesn't have the pass and only has Home, it's still banking on someone wasting their money. No matter what, someone's still losing. I suppose the argument would be that by the same logic, Pokemon Bank would be just as bad. And looking back at it, yeah, that would be completely correct. It is just as bad. Given that in Gens 3 to 4 and 4 to 5, it was completely free to transfer Pokemon, not to mention also a mechanic directly implemented into all of the games themselves, yeah, Bank and Home are both bad. Wait a minute. Didn't they say they weren't gonna patch old Pokemon in at all? You mean they fucking lied again? Jesus fucking Christ! These motherfuckers become more and more like Scott Cawthon every day. Except Scott hasn't released an incomplete game you already had to spend money on and then expected you to pay more for DLC. Yet. So, Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra are what Game Freak's doing instead of a third version. Though I will say it's weird that when they showed other third versions, they showed Black and White too, even though it's literally a sequel and is very different from Black and White. The expansions take place within the Galar region still, but within new areas that the residents of the region just decided not to tell you about. How quaint. Isle of Armor takes place on, guess what? The Isle of Armor. And the Crown Tundra takes place in the desert. No, it's the fucking Crown Tundra. Oh, Game Freak, you're so great at naming things. The Direct made note of the locations of these places by veering off into certain directions on the map. Isle of Armor veered off into the mid-right, toward the ocean, while the Crown Tundra veered off below the bottom of the map. So, let's speculate on their real-world counterparts. Some people may think that these locations are in Ireland and Scotland. Nope! For the Isle of Armor, there's actually an island located in a spot similar to the one they zoomed in on, called the Isle of Man. No shit. Here it is on Google Maps. And for the Tundra, given what we know, with Galar cutting off before Scotland, the border between England and Scotland is the Cheviot Hills. If they turned that into a tundra, I suppose that would make sense. So, yeah, that still leaves Scotland and Ireland open to being full regions later. Alright, so let's cut the shit and start going in depth with each one. I'll be going in order of how everything was announced, so let's start with Isle of Armor. Apparently, these two things have themes, with the one for Isle being growth. I thought the theme for the entire fucking generation was growth, you know, because of the fucking gimmick, but I guess I'm wrong. on the titular aisle, there is a dojo you can go to and become an apprentice in, run by a man named, now I'm not fucking shitting you, Mustard. Essentially, Master Mustard. That's fucking great. Mr. Mustard here not only mentored Galar and Lance, I mean Leon, but also used to be the champion himself. Hey, that's pretty cool. His character design's not all too bad either. I don't really like the style they chose for the eyes, the eyebrows are weird, and the jacket and hat's a bit too brightly colored compared to the rest of his attire, but it looks pretty good otherwise. There are also new rivals that differ depending on the game. Sword has Clara, a poison-type user, and Shield has Avery, a psychic-type user. And, oh my lord, these character designs are on point. Clara's adorable, and Avery's so fucking cool. I mean, the random splashes of different colors on Avery's shirt are a little jarring, but even despite that, he looks amazing. Good job, Game Freak. I am legitimately impressed. Next, they actually revealed the legendary Pokemon. Yeah, new legendaries! There's more than 3 now! This little guy is Kubfu, the Wushu Pokemon, and a mono fighting type. His name sounds way too similar to Cubchoo, but his design is pretty cute. Though that doesn't exactly matter, because guess what? He evolves! Yep, we're doing that again. Through means that haven't been fully disclosed to us, all we know is that Mustard has one lying around and gives it to you to train. Kubfu evolves into Urshifu, still the Wushu Pokemon. Urshifu has 2 different forms. There's Single Strike, a fighting and dark type, and Rapid Strike, a fighting and water type. Apparently Game Freak's saying they can't switch between forms, so that's a new low they've taken with the legendaries. I have no idea how that's supposed to work in the lore, but the website says there are apparently multiple. Ugh, whatever. Not only did they reveal that, but they revealed that both forms have their own Gigantamax. Geez, kind of feels like they're just revealing their entire hand. Design-wise, I definitely like regular Urshifu more than Gigantamax, but between the 2 forms, I like Single Strike more. Both of them are decently designed and pleasing to the eye, but I'm drawn to that one more. Gigantamax Single Strike form looks a little too much like Shiny Incineroar though. Also, fun fact, this is the first bear legendary. Yep, it's been almost 25 years, we've had a fuck ton of birds, cats, and dragons, and we never got a bear legendary until just now. I checked. So even though they gave the Gen 7 starters Z moves in their base game, and didn't even give the Gen 6 ones anything, except Greninja kinda, Game Freak thought it would be a great fucking idea to give the starters in this game Gigantamaxes in the fucking paid expansion. Yep, you have to pay to get the fullest possible experience with your starter. Isn't that just lovely? Rillaboom gets a big-ass drum and big-ass arms that come from the vines that serve as his hair. Cinderace gets a big-ass ball and big-ass ears, and Inteleon... Wait, hold on. What the fuck is that? Okay, so Inteleon gets a big-ass sniper rifle, and his bottom half becomes Eternamax Eternatus. Fantastic! They all look retarded. Also, as a side note, Game Freak pronounced Inteleon Inteleon. Like, I don't know why they fucking do this. This is like the 5th time. If they like un so much, then why do they keep spelling it on? Game Freak, please stop. This is painful. But honestly, I didn't like these guys' base looks already. Rillaboom was the only coherent and pleasing one for me. Cinderace's buff arms and stubby hands threw me off, and Inteleon looks like a fucking disgusting twig. But this isn't any better. It's not like they're making their already worst qualities even worse, but they're not making any qualities any better. Out of all of them, I'd say Cinderace's is the one I hate the least. But Jesus Christ, I can't believe they straight up gave Inteleon a gun. What the fuck? Moving on from Pokemon, they announced a few other things like new moves taught by a tutor, an experience charm, even though experience share is fucking mandatory already, and fucking apricorns! Oh shit! I I hardly used them in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Cool that you remembered, though. Also, a lot more customization, holy shit. And at the end, they slipped us a peek of Giganta Venusaur and Blastoise. Hey, look at that! You remembered them! Why wasn't this in the code while Base Venusaur, Blastoise, and fucking Giganta Melmetal are? Is beyond me. But thanks. They actually don't look half bad either. I'd even say more aesthetically pleasing than Charizard's. That covers it for the Isle. Now for the Tundra, whose theme is exploration. To quote Game Freak, a certain person helps you explore this new place, appointing you as a leader for an exploration group. Who is this certain person? They don't say, but in the concept art reel before the in-depth looks, they had a picture of this guy wearing similar shit as you. So maybe that's the guy. Though they were kinda implying that they wanted people to speculate at the potential of an old character returning, and he doesn't look like any character I'm aware of, but whatever. Next, they revealed yet another new legendary, Calyrex, or how I like to pronounce his name, Calyrex. I don't know why, but I forgot how they pronounce it officially, got this one in my head, and decided I liked it better. So, fuck it. Calyrex is the king Pokemon, a psychic and grass type. He looks interesting. He's a deer, or is he a rabbit, with long legs, short arms, and a big brain. And Triforces. Huh. Basically, he's galaxy-brained discount Celebi if Celebi was a deer. Fantastic! I don't hate him, he has a certain appeal, but I don't love his design. There's also a new co-op mode that's basically max raid battles, but this time you get to explore and battle big Pokemon. And in these dens, in this mode, you get to capture, oh no, almost all the pre-existing legendaries. Aw, fuck, the legendary quest is back. I'm sorry, guys. Wait, no I'm not. People only get to do this if they 1. Bought the base game, and 2. Bought the expansion pack. 2 retarded mistakes in 1. You may not deserve this pain, but I sure as hell won't be sorry for you. I will be sorry about the fact they're probably gonna reuse the Legendaries' original themes for the millionth time. Remember when they'd give remixes of the Legendaries' themes even if they weren't from that region? Like in Black and White 2 with the Reggies? That was good shit. 2 of the Legendaries in it are Dialga and Palkia. So I guess no remakes until next year? Unless they make this gen 4 years. Weird, but no complaints. I know I was really confident that they would happen this year or next year, but that was before we realized Game Freak was a giant cunt. I don't want Game Freak touching Diamond and Pearl while they're this retarded. Wait, quick timeout. Next year is the 25th anniversary. Diamond and Pearl are practically the most beloved games. They're due for a remake this generation, which next year falls into... Oh, fuck! Also, the Genies are back. To the selfish assholes who were glad the National Dex was gone because it didn't have Landorus, I hope you feel the pain. Jokes aside, just like with Venusaur and Blastoise beforehand, Pokemon already in the code but unobtainable, like Mewtwo, Solgaleo, and Lunala, are included in this reveal. After that, they show us some concepts of, holy shit, completely new Reggies! How does that even work? Did Arceus go to Regigigas and say, hey, see that island all the way on the other side of that huge fucking landmass? Can you make some more children over there? Is that why Regigigas was asleep in Snow Point Ruins? Because he was tired when coming back from making more Reggie children in Galar? Anyway, these 2 guys don't have names yet, but they're obviously Electric and Dragon. So, I'm gonna throw my hat into the ring and say Regivolt and Regidrake. If I'm right, I'm gonna scream. They look okay. It's really weird seeing new Reggies over 10 years after the last, which came a generation after the first 3 and was supposed to be their leader, so it makes sense. But they don't look horrible. The only problem I have is Drake over here having the color palette of a fucking shitty OC, but this is just a reference sheet that doesn't account for shading or detail, so I'm sure he'll look fine. Then, holy shit again! Galaran versions of the legendary birds. What? Okay, how the fuck does that work? I know certain canons say there are multiple of the legendaries, but Jesus Christ. I mean, they look beautiful. All three of them are absolutely stunning. Even Moltres' red and black looks good. But why? Did Arceus look at the original ones he made, say, I can do better, fly to England from Japan, make these guys, and hated the original so much he gave these guys their names? This is going to need a lot of explaining, Game Freak. In order of least favorite to favorite though, I gotta say, Articuno Moltres Zapdos. Articuno looks cool with her fucking Joker mask and laser eyes, but she's pretty dull color-wise. Moltres really pulls off a pretty red and black, which is really hard to do, though I suppose the hot pink in there helps. But Zapdos' colors are so good. The yellow, orange, and black go really well together, and the bright yellow toes really pop. He's just so sleek too. I love them. I don't understand how or why they exist, but I love them. If only they weren't surrounded by so much company bullshit. Just like Isle, Tundra adds a fuck ton of new customization shit too. Apparently, there are new battle challenges as well. Lastly, they talked about the addition of lots of, but not all, returning Pokemon. The free patch that'll add them to the code, Pokemon Home, which is supposed to come out in February. Don't buy it if you value your Pokemon. And finally, Galaran Slowpoke. Galaran Slowpoke remains his usual species and type, and only changes in appearance. And by that, I mean they kept him exactly the same and then pissed on his head and tail. Well, I guess they can't all be winners. Since he is a first stage variant, this means that both of his evolutions get variants as well. While we don't see them completely, we are told that Slowbro is exclusive to Isle and Slowking to Tundra. Due to the fact we can't see them in their entirety, I will not be giving my opinions on the evolutions. Slowpoke, however, I can't lie, he's just old Slowpoke with piss all over him. What do you want me to feel? Interesting that what we can assume is Galaran Slowbro doesn't have a shoulder on its tail. But wait, Slowbro has a Mega. How are they? Oh wait, I forgot. Game Freak likes to pretend that Megas don't exist, and then remember when it's convenient. Isn't that right, Let's Go and Mystery Dungeon DX? I guess it's also important to mention that apparently the entirety of both areas function like the wild area. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, given that the wild area is kinda shit. But hey, whatever. They're trying, and that's what matters, right? Ugh. The very last, final thing they mention is that they're releasing a patch for Sword and Shield that essentially acts as a teaser for the expansions. You meet your game-dependent Isle rival and get a chance to capture Piston Slowpoke, which you can't evolve until the expansions actually come out. By the time this video comes out, the patch will have already been released. Finally, that's it. So I've been sprinkling in some of my opinions on the information as we go, but I never really touched upon how I feel about the fact that this is happening. Well, is it not obvious? I'm fucking livid! I've already explained why most of this is bullshit. I'm fucking appalled that Game Freak stooped so low. Maybe I'd go slightly easier if it was $20 or $15 for both combined. Maybe I'd go easier if they hadn't lied. I know I certainly would have gone easier if we already had the national decks. This is simply the worst possible timeline. And I don't even believe in alternate timelines. Is it better than a completely separate Ultimate Edition at full price? Maybe, but just because it's better doesn't mean it's good. It just means the other thing is a hell of a lot worse. The really scary part is that they have 209 more Pokemon they still have to add back, and there's still a winter time slot open. They might make a third one and release it for holidays. Fuck, at that point, the only way to fix all of this is to sell a physical version of the game with all the DLC on cartridge for $60. At that point, it would actually be worth that much. I guess the thing that really gets me is, Game Freak's still being a smug bitch who thinks they're actually putting in even a % of effort and making a good game, as usual. I'm still mad at them, of course, but their shitty attitude is nothing compared to the bullshit they're selling. Still, it's disheartening. People actually fall for their pretty words. Maybe it's just me being a cunt, but it's kinda depressing. Oh, I don't mean that I'm yeeting myself into depression or anything, but I'm definitely not happy about it, and I can't just accept it. Maybe I'm retarded for caring this much about a series that's labeled for kids, even though it's weird that the "it's for kids" excuse is only used to shut down people who don't like something, and almost never used when an adult loves that thing too much. But I just can't stand watching this series I've loved since I was a kid go down in flames. The designs for most of the Pokemon are great, and the new lore is intriguing. But the only other good thing about it is the fucking potential it gives retards who make shitty fanfictions like me. And that's not saying much. I wish I could be more excited, but after everything that's happened over the past 2 years, actually probably even longer, I can't be. I'm not buying these. I don't even have the base games. And just like last video, I advise you to do the same. We need to show Game Freak that they can't get away with this. Not again. Not with shit like this. Anyway, that's all the Pokemon content for now. I'm VG Master 2, and I have a Super Smash Bros. Review to get to.